Welcome to the Explainer. So if you're a Level 6 Project Controls apprentice, you know all about behavior B8, collaboration. It sounds pretty simple, right? But actually proving you've mastered it, well, that can be tough. Today, we're going to break down exactly how to do that so you can absolutely ace your assessment. To make this all feel a bit more real, let's follow the journey of Jody. She's a fantastic apprentice over at IBIS Stores, and she's well on her way to her final qualification. But, there's one particular behavior that's giving her a little bit of trouble. You guessed it, Jody's excelling in most areas. But just like a lot of us, she finds that official definition of behavior B8 a little confusing. It just feels so abstract, So she does the smart thing and reaches out to her support team for a bit of guidance.
So here's our game plan. We're going to follow Jody every step of the way as she learns what B8 really is, how to develop the skills, how to actually evidence them for her portfolio, and then how to get ready for that big final step, the endpoint assessment, or EPA. Jody's journey starts with her line manager, Riedel, because before she can really act, she's got to understand what B8 actually means in the real world and why it's so incredibly important.
Right, to get them both on the same page, Riddle starts right at the source, the official definition of B8. This is the foundation for, well, everything that's going to follow.
Now I know, this can look like a whole lot of corporate jargon, but let's just break it down. It's not just about being friendly. It's about actively building cooperative relationships and creating an interdependent culture. What does that mean? It means making sure everyone gets that their piece of the puzzle affects the whole picture.
So Riddell translates this from theory into day-to-day practice for Jody. In her world at IBIS Stores, this means working with engineers and the finance team, making sure the data makes sense to everybody, and navigating those tricky conversations when different teams have totally different priorities.
And Riddle really hammers this point home to Jody. This is not just some tick box exercise for your apprenticeship. No way. Strong collaboration is literally the glue that holds complex projects together. Without it, you get people working in silos, a ton of misunderstandings, and way more risk. With it, you get trust, shared goals, and much, much better decisions.
Okay, so Jody now gets the what and the why. Awesome. Next up, she meets with her mentor, Adam. He's here to give her the how, a really practical toolkit for actually building these collaboration skills.
Adam lays out this really clear 4-step path for Jody. It all starts with seeing the big picture, how different teams rely on each other. Then it moves to communication, then building trust by being reliable, and finally, taking a step back to reflect on how her actions are actually impacting the team. It's a journey for sure, not just a one-time thing.
And Adam gives Jody some homework to make all this real. He gets her to map out team interactions, work through some conflict scenarios, and really reflect on specific moments where trust was either built or broken. This is how you turn a fuzzy idea like collaboration into a real concrete skill. Okay, so Jody understands B8 and she's got a development plan. Now for the really tricky part. Her coach, Olivia, steps in to help her figure out how to prove all this great work in her evidence portfolio.
This slide is brilliant because it perfectly illustrates Olivia's point. See, anyone can submit a meeting attendance list. That's weak evidence. Strong evidence shows your impact. It's that reflective statement about how you helped a team solve a really tough problem. Or maybe it's some positive feedback from a colleague in another department that singles out your contribution. That's the good stuff. Olivia then shares this absolutely crucial piece of advice she got directly from an assessor. They are not looking for a log of your activities. What they're looking for is proof of authentic engagement, of genuine relationship building, and the effect that had on the project. So, the bottom line is this. Your evidence needs to tell a story. A story that starts with the situation, then details the specific actions you took to bring people together, explains the positive impact of those actions, and finally, reflects on what you learned from the whole experience.
So, with a strong portfolio in the works, Jody's team helps her prep for the final test, the endpoint assessment, the EPA. This is a professional discussion with an assessor where she'll have to talk through her real-world collaborative experiences.
They kick things off with a classic EPA question. It's designed to test if Jody can not only talk about the principles of B8, but really connect them to her own actions. And let me tell you, that's a tough question if you're not prepared for it.
So Jody takes a deep breath and practices her answer. She uses the STAR method, situation, task, action, result, to structure her response, pulling a perfect example from a recent project she worked on at IBS Stores.
Olivia then provides a model answer. And the key here is the language. Words like trust-based relationships and shared ownership. Using these specific phrases shows an assessor that you're not just doing the work, you're thinking and operating at the highest level.
They run through another super common question, this time one that flat out demands a concrete example. This just reinforces for Jody that she needs to have a few powerful stories from her portfolio ready to go, stories that really demonstrate her skills in action.
So, through all this incredible structured support from her team, Jody's now feeling really confident. She doesn't just have a plan to master behavior B8, she has a plan to prove it effectively. Her journey has basically given her a framework for success. And here's your toolkit, all boiled down. Number 1, understand what collaboration really means in your role. 2, actively work on developing those skills. 3, when you're creating evidence, always focus on your impact. And 4, prepare for your assessment by practicing with your own powerful examples.
And that is our explainer on mastering behavior B8. You've seen Jody's journey from confusion to total confidence, and now it's your turn. The real question to leave you with is this: what's the first cooperative relationship you're going to focus on building this week?